Alchemy and Intimacy, Heaven on Earth by Raquel Moreau. Chapter 2, Energy-Filled Manipulation. In Chapter 1, we discussed the history and basic fundamentals of alchemy and how it relates to Tantra and intimacy. In this portion, we will jump to present-day research and evidence of transmutable energy fields and how they influence the body. This unseeable energy goes by many names: ether, spirit, vril, vibrations, orgone, magnetism, and life force. All refer to the same invisible force that keeps every atom in the universe in order. The earth has its own magnetic field, and so do our bodies. The magnetic field from the heart extends out 3 to 9 feet wide, depending on our state. A simple medical ECG or EEG can measure the resonance or vibration. It was originally believed that their only purpose was to keep us alive, a way for the heart to keep itself beating, and neurons to be fired in the brain. This is definitely one purpose of magnetism and explains how our life force maintains itself, keeping us alive. Magnets have a positive and negative charge. They repel and attract. A magnetic loop, once set into motion, is a constant repelling and attracting of energy, which can continuously perpetuate itself. However, what we are preoccupied with here are what other purposes these fields serve, such as what happens when our magnetic field comes into contact with another person's magnetic field. Researchers at HeartMath Institute wanted to see how the brain waves and heart rate would react when being touched by another person. Observing 2 participants, they hooked up an EEG to each of their brains and an ECG to both of their hearts. When subject A touched subject B, they noticed something amazing. The wavelength pattern of subject A's heart was mirrored in the brain waves of subject B. Subject B was receiving information from subject A's heart. The researchers then attempted to see if this synchronicity could be maintained at a distance, but the further away the participants were separated, the energy transmission lessened. The reason subject A affected subject B and not vice versa is because this participant was told to approach with a feeling of love in their heart. The researchers found this component to make a difference in the strength of our magnetic resonance and communication between our own brains and hearts. Basically, what this means is that we can positively affect another's energy field if we approach them from a place of love. Following is an excerpt from the HMI article, Science of the Heart, in which the results of the study were analyzed. Evidence now supports the perspective that a subtle yet influential electromagnetic or energetic communication system operates just below our conscious level of awareness. The results of these experiments have led us to conclude that the nervous system acts as an antenna, which is tuned to and responds to the magnetic fields produced by the hearts of other individuals. My colleagues and I call this energetic information exchange energetic communication. Furthermore, we have observed that this energetic communication ability can be enhanced, resulting in a much deeper level of nonverbal communication, understanding, and connection between people. The alchemist's motto is, "As above, so below," meaning the non-physical affects the physical, and the physical affects the non-physical. In other words, information picked up in the field causes a reaction in the physical body. Likewise, a feeling or thought generated from the body extends out into the field. It's important to understand the subtleties of the human body when being intimate with someone, because you can see how acutely one person can affect another just by being in their presence. In another interesting study by HMI, they measured the heart rates of participants before and after showing them emotionally provocative pictures. They found that the participant's heart would sense the overarching emotion of the photo an average of 4.8 seconds before it was even shown to them, and respond with an increase or decrease in heart rate. The participant's heart was pulling information from the Earth's magnetic field and receiving messages even before the brain. This means the heart can react to threats that it perceives in its surrounding area before we even consciously realize why our body is reacting. It also means that if you approach someone in a threatening manner, Their body is reacting before you even have the chance to speak to them or touch them. Sex and fear. If emotions can be communicated this easily, then what emotions do we usually have before sex? To determine this, we must consider what we are thinking before sex. It seems the most common thoughts are either, I hope I please you well, or I hope you please me well. These thoughts convey the emotions of worry, desperation, and fear. Yes, even the thought of wanting very badly to please your lover. This thought places an expectation on your partner, and beneath it lies a fear that things may not work out the way you want them to work out. These are not emotions you want to communicate to your partner's subconscious mind and body before sex. Not only is it unattractive, but these lower vibrational emotions restrict your capacity to connect with your partner. When we choose fear as our primary emotion, we are relying on the part of the brain designed for survival, called the ego. The ego is not useful during intimacy. In this state, our magnetic field shrinks in order to allow us to focus our energy on the physical threat in front of us. We are then restricted to working within the limits of the physical realm and cannot affect our partner energetically. This is because in survival mode, one must prepare for the worst. We do this by forming predictions of what will happen by drawing on our past experiences. This allows us to brace ourselves and greatly increases our likelihood of survival. However, when we use the past to predict the future, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why it's important to know when to shut off the ego, lest we fall into unhealthy patterns, a cycle of unhappiness, and disappointing interactions. Some good thoughts to repeat in your head while engaging in intimacy are, I love you, I appreciate you, or I am so grateful for this experience. Try to concentrate on one of these mantras as your foremost thought, letting go of all other thoughts and expectations. One must learn to approach intimate relations with zero expectations and allow oneself to feel the higher emotions of love, appreciation, or gratitude in order to tap into the Zen subconscious state or soul state. This is where we can manipulate matter with our thoughts. In this mode, we are not in fear, so we can relax more into pleasure and help our partner do so as well. The good thing is, after consciously choosing to spend more time in this state, it becomes second nature, and throughout the day, we find ourselves slipping into the subconscious state more and more, which results in higher creativity and unexpected opportunities. This is because we are no longer doing our part to create the negative cycle by playing out our past problems. By staying in an attitude of appreciation, the universe naturally brings us more to appreciate. By releasing worry, our energy is freed up to be used in limitless ways. Tuning into the soul state. Most people could use more time in the soul state. Some people are always more naturally inclined to choose this state of mind, whether they are aware of it or not. These are the witty people that seem to make everything look so effortless. Because we live in a stressful environment, we must practice regaining control of when and when not to use the egoic mind. We all have the ability to access the higher soul state of mind, and it's not as difficult as one might think. Here we'll go over just 2 methods that are simple and effective. The first being the heart lock-in technique from Heart Math Institute, and then a basic breathing meditation. Heart lock-in technique. 1. Focus your attention on the area of the heart. Imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your chest or heart area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Step 2. Activate and sustain a regenerative feeling such as love, appreciation, care, or compassion. Step 3. Radiate that renewing feeling to yourself and others. For those of us that have a hard time generating feelings of love and appreciation on our own, meditation may be more effective. Breathing meditation. Step 1. Sit in a quiet area in cross-legged position with hands on the knees and eyes closed. Step 2. Focus on your breathing without trying to change or control it. Notice how the breath happens on its own without any interference on your part. Step 3. Relax further into the meditation and recognize that there is no need to try and control everything. You are supported by the universe. Step 4. Allow yourself to appreciate the intricacy of the universe. Recognize this invisible force that automatically breathes life into your lungs at every moment of every day. Realize that the universe is conspiring to keep you alive, even in your darkest times. This is love, and you are always loved and supported. Step 5. Dismiss any negative thoughts or worries that may arise. You have all the time in the world to problem solve later. You are in control. Stay in the present moment by bringing your attention back to your ever-present breath and allow yourself to feel loved, whole, and content. Step 6. Arise and go about your day with the intention of spreading joy and receiving even more joy. Consider the following quote. We human beings are so constituted that when we seek happiness for ourselves, it eludes our grasp. But when we seek to make other people happy, happiness comes and abides with us. Ida Craddock. Practice either of these tools every day for 5 to 15 minutes. Over time, you will become more aware of how your mood fluctuates throughout the day and what causes it. You'll become so addicted to feeling good that you will begin stepping away from anything that derails your joy because you will notice it in an instant, like a splinter in the foot. We become so numb from relying on our autopilot ego that sometimes we don't even realize when something causes us to dissociate, irks our nerves, stresses, and worries us. It's just added to the laundry list of problems that we deal with and identify with on a daily basis. Obviously, we can't just walk away from all of our problems, but it's high time that we gave ourselves permission to excuse ourselves from certain intense situations when we notice our mood go sour. We must do this to allow those lower vibrational feelings to come and go. It is each of our own responsibility to bring ourselves back to harmony, otherwise we're of no good use to anyone. Always remember your breath and how it is a gift given to you at every moment. Take some time to reflect on the beauty of this support and allow yourself to feel gratitude. Realize that it rains on the just and unjust alike, but you don't have to sit in the rain. Don't be afraid to excuse yourself from others if you are in a situation that is making you feel disconnected from yourself. Eventually, by favoring and selecting this state of being, you'll be able to maintain this state throughout the day without even trying. Things that bothered you before will fall by the wayside. You'll begin to pursue your bliss and may even learn new things about yourself, discovering interests you didn't even know you had because your mind was always clouded with dwelling on people and problems in your life. By staying in a state of gratitude, doors of opportunity will begin to open left and right. Things will seem to go your way, and when they don't, you'll find the humor or silver lining because you'll not want to waste another day feeling hopeless. Many people are aware that meditation has positive benefits, but see it as a waste of time. After all, time is our most precious commodity. For this reason, some may have difficulty allowing themselves to take the time out of their day to do nothing. Doing nothing isn't very appealing when there are so many things that need to be done. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza has done much research in the past 10 years on how meditation influences gene expression and our overall health. In a study done in Palm Springs, California in 2017, his findings were substantial. They followed 32 people who were asked to meditate 5 days per week for 6 months. The telomeres of their DNA strands were measured before and after this period. Telomeres are small sections located at the ends of each DNA strand that become shorter as we get older. By the end, it was determined that 20 out of the remaining 27 that complied had actually caused their telomeres to lengthen. This means that they actually extended their life expectancy. 11 of the participants increased their telomeres by 0.05%, adding 4 to 8 days to their lifespan, and 6 participants by 0.1 to 0.26%, adding 8 to 16 days to their lifespan. Could this be the fountain of youth the ancient alchemists had discovered? It seems that all of their rumored abilities are being proven, one by one, through science. In another groundbreaking study by Dr. Joe Dispenza, participants' gene expression was measured after just 4 days of meditation. There are regulatory genes inside of our DNA that communicate to our cells which kind of proteins to create. When we are able to create good proteins or upregulate, we are healthy. When bad proteins are created, also known as downregulating, we become sick and unhealthy. Genes choose to upregulate or downregulate cellular production of proteins based on our environment. Since meditation helps to control our mood and emotions regardless of our environment, it was hypothesized that gene expression would improve. It was shocking just how much they did improve in only 4 days, and the list of genes upregulated was impressive. The gene for learning and novel experiences, genes for cellular and tissue repair, genes producing antioxidant, anti-aging, anti-heart disease, anti-stroke, anti-neurodegenerative, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial proteins to the body, as well as 3 genes that suppress cancer and tumors, and genes for hormonal balance and metabolic function. When we meditate, we're not actually doing nothing. We're allowing our minds and bodies to heal, and we are taking back control of our lives. Healing from sexual trauma. The chakras, or hormonal centers of the body, can be healed through meditation by staying in an elevated emotional state and focusing attention on that part of the body. Many of us have some form of healing that needs to take place in these centers. For instance, if you were sexually abused, humiliated, or objectified, you may have a hard time achieving orgasm or maintaining an erection for the time period you wish. For healing related to sexual organs, it can help to focus on the sacral chakra while meditating, which governs these bodily functions. The sacral chakra is located between the navel and the genitalia. Simply focusing your attention on this region with a loving vibrational emotion during meditation can upregulate genes that deliver healing proteins to the area. In Tantra, aside from meditation, there are a number of bodily practices that you can do on your own to help achieve what is called sexual continence. Sexual continence means having the ability to orgasm when you wish. One way to improve sexual continence is by doing an exercise called Kegels. Women can practice Kegels by constricting and squeezing the vaginal opening for as long as possible, then releasing and repeating this for a session of 10 minutes per day. Men can practice Kegels by stopping midstream while they are urinating for a couple seconds and repeating as many times as possible each time they use the restroom. Another way to become more sexually continent is mindful masturbation. By maintaining a feeling of love and appreciation while touching yourself all over, not just the genital area, you can reestablish the feeling of touch with positivity and unconditional love, making the genital area more receptive. Mindful masturbation should take place over about 15 minutes and not be reliant on any outside visual stimulation. In tantric teachings, it is said that if a man can maintain an erection for 15 minutes while mindfully masturbating, then he will gain control to last as long as he wants during sex. Women can gain the ability to have multiple orgasms once the body associates being touched with being loved energetically. The pathology of ego-based sex. Because not everyone knows the importance of energy, it can be difficult to explain to someone that this is what their bedroom skills are lacking. It's a lot easier to blame it on inadequate physical features or movements, because this is something you can both see. It might be easy to notice a lack of passion. However, it must be remembered that just because a move is done intensely does not mean it is done with passion. A lot of times, the more intensely a movement is done, the more frenzied and thoughtless it becomes. The faster you move, the harder it is to acknowledge and appreciate every sensation you are feeling. We want our partner to feel worshipped, to provide the maximum amount of pleasure possible, and for this we must stay in the present moment while holding on to high vibrational feelings. To the alchemist, passionate sex is just barely controlled, infusing a feverish and consuming longing into each and every movement. An orgasm is not just physical, it's also a feeling. This feeling is enhanced by joining your non-physical energies that you have honed like a sword with the correct physical movements. It's probably the closest thing any of us will ever experience to real magic. Let's imagine a scenario of two lovers whose only goal is to please each other, and how missing some vital information about energy can end in dissatisfaction or turmoil. This is a frustrating and all too familiar reality for many couples. A man wanting to please his partner very badly decides to ask his wife what she likes in bed. He's mature enough to understand that she has had other experiences in the past that have taught her what she likes and doesn't like. The woman thinks back on what she has seen someone do that has pleased her in the past and gives him some physical instruction. But because she couldn't see the feeling combined with the movement, this vital piece of information is left out. The man then performs the exact same movement on her, but it does not produce the same results. At this point, the woman has two choices. Since over 80% of women admit to faking orgasms on a regular basis, it usually goes something like this. The woman feels pressured to accept the man's attempt as good enough, because at least he had the respect to ask her what she wanted. She concludes that it's her own fault for not understanding her body. She doesn't want to frustrate her partner or make him feel insecure compared to her past lovers, so she fakes enjoyment. If the woman decides to be honest with the man, he may then feel a crushing strike to his ego. He will most likely go straight on to blaming a physical deficiency as well, thinking, I'm not big enough, or I don't know what I'm doing, and begin to feel insecure. Or, depending on his confidence, he may blame the woman. He may decide she's too experienced and not the right fit for his male organ, and wonder if he should find another partner that accepts him the way he is, or at least pretends to get joy out of the way he has sex. The sad thing is that even if one could explain the intricacies of mental alchemy and physical touch, would the average person want to take the time to really try to understand this, especially right in the middle of sex? Or would they compare these ideas to the intense sex scenes they're used to and write it off as boring? It's no wonder that only maybe 1 in 1,000 married couples has discovered this secret that makes them never want to leave each other's side. In Chapter 5, we'll go over some conversational tactics to help open up your partner's mind about energetic sex. Overcoming energy blocks. For those of us that are still having a hard time tapping into this non-physical energy by creating more elevated emotions on our own, either because we are damaged or skeptical, it can help to see a Tantra practitioner. Once you receive this type of touch, it makes it easier to tap into it on your own. With the help of another, you can create new positive experiences that are more powerful than old negative experiences, transforming you into a person that loves life. This is why alchemy, Tantra, is another path to enlightenment. According to Dr. Dispenza, beliefs about yourself and your life are created from past experiences. They are the thoughts, neurological, and feelings, chemical, that you embrace within the biology of your past memories, which ultimately becomes your state of being. An internal experience can become more powerful than any past external experience. The internal experience in the present moment rewires the brain as well as reconditions the body to a new mind. By having new positive experiences, we no longer define ourselves by what has happened in the past. Dissatisfaction, disease, deficiency, and dysfunction all become a thing of the past as well. We become defined by these new experiences. This is how we can break ourselves out of the negative thought patterns, some of which we may have been holding on to ever since childhood. We have the power to heal ourselves and others, just as alchemists and Tantra practitioners have known for millennia. We've spent a lot of time talking about the scientific benefits of altering our thoughts, along with the potentials of our heart and brain. However, thought alone is not enough to physically please our partners in lovemaking. We must have some idea of the function of our sex organs to make sure we are connecting in the most pleasurable way possible. In the next portion, we will go over physiological differences between the male and female body and how to overcome the negative view of sex that society has shaped in men and women. Try the heart lock-in technique or the breathing meditation and notice how it changes your overall mood. There are too many benefits not to give it a try.